current as well as the phase angle. So then we can say that that's a complete equation. And power we have substituted is product of voltage and I. Substituting the voltage and current, we'll get it as V max I max by 2 cos phi minus V max I max by 2 cos 2 omega t minus phi. So if you calculate the average power, it is integration of instantaneous power. So finally it comes as VRMS into IRMS into power factor, which is nothing but cos phi. So from here we have the average active and apparent power. So active power is dependent on in phase component of the current. The average power is the full power that is used to do work on the load. Active power is also called as an average or real or true power and is measured in watts. So active power is nothing but P is equal to VI cos phi. Reactive power is pure inductor and capacitor consume no power because all the power received from the source in a half cycle is returned to source in the next half cycle. This circulating power is called reactive power. It is the product of voltage and reactive power of the current, that is I sin phi, and is measured in kVr. It means voltage ampere reactive. So Q is equal to VI sin phi. And the last is apparent power. The product of voltage and current is known as apparent power and is measured in kVA, kilovolt amps. So apparent power is equal to S is equal to VI, which is nothing but under root of P square plus Q square. And if you see the power triangle is a representation of a right angle triangle showing the relation between the active power, reactive power and apparent power. When each component of the current, that is active power, active component or the reactive component is multiplied by the voltage, a power triangle is obtained as shown in the figure. We can see this is the real power, reactive power and apparent power. With each of the values specified. And power factor is nothing but cos phi, and you can see the power factor from the voltage triangle VR by V, from impedance triangle R by Z, and from power triangle it is P by S. So in case of series LR circuit, the power factor is lagging in nature. This is complete the synopsis, a circuit diagram with a phasor diagram, impedance triangle. This is the current is lagging the voltage by phi angle, okay, and this is a resolution of phi, and this is all about the power curves. Let us consider now the RC circuit passing through an alternating current, and here you can see this is alternating current with the value of voltage V is equal to V max by 2. The resistance and the capacitors are connected in series with this particular given source. The voltage across resistance we are assumed as in VR, and across the capacitance is VC, and I is the current flowing in the circuit, and the total voltage across these two components is taken as in V. So this V is nothing but V max sin omega t. V and I are RMS values of source voltage and current. So what is VR? VR will be R into I, and what is VC? VC will be into I into XC. XC is nothing but capacitive reactance. So I leads VL by 90 degree in the case of capacitor. So the waveform here we show that this is VR and this is VC. So what is V now? V will be equal to VR plus VC. So this is a vector diagram, and this we can see this called as a voltage triangle. This is a graphical representation of voltage, current and power. It's a voltage. This red we can say this is current, and the pink one represents the power. So with this we can see the phasor diagram. This is V max and this is I max with 0, and this is an angle making as a phi angle, phase difference. To calculate impedance, this is VR plus VC. So just substituting the value VR and VC, you'll get Z as an R minus J by omega C. So Z is nothing but mod of Z is nothing but, with respect to this diagram, under root of R square plus X square Z. So we are substituting this value, and phi is equal to tan inverse of XC by XR. The right angle triangle formed with the vectors representing the resistance drop, the reactance drops, and the impedance drops of the circuit carrying an alternating current is called impedance triangle. So with this triangle, we can see that Z is equal to under root of R square plus XC square, where sin phi is equal to XL by Z, cos phi is equal to R by Z, and tan phi is equal to XL by R. Similarly, the current, we can find it out. Current, we will get it as current is equal to voltage V max by Z, and because this is the main equation, I is equal to Im sin omega t plus phi, where Im is equal to V max by Z and phi is equal to tan inverse of Xc by XR. Power is product of V into I, so just substitute the value of V and I here, multiply with the mathematical equation. This comes V max I max by 2 into cos phi minus V max I max by 2 into cos 2 omega t plus phi. So if we are going to find out the average power, it is nothing but integration of instantaneous power. So finally we get it as VRMS IRMS into cos phi. This is the same way what we did for the RC combination. This is for the RL combination, power triangle. So we can see this is the real power, reactive power, and this is an apparent power. So active power is equal to VI cos phi, reactive power is VI sin phi, and the last is apparent power, which is nothing but VI, can be written as under root of P square plus Q square. If this is P and this is Q, so this comes P square plus Q square under root of is nothing but S, according to Pythagoras theorem. This is whole about the synopsis of RC combination. You can see a circuit diagram, a phasor diagram, as well as the impedance in triangle, and this is the power curve. And then we will see LCR combination connected in series with an alternating current. So we have taken a resistance, considering a resistance R, an inductance L, and a capacitance C, connected in series with an alternating source having a voltage V is equal to V max sin omega t, and the voltage across resistance is VR, across inductance is VL, and across C is VC. So here we have taken as V is equal to V max sin omega t, and V and I are RMS values of source voltage and current. So across VR is equal to nothing but IR, and VL is nothing but IXL, and VC will be equal to IXC. So here in the case, the current is lagging the voltage by 90 degree, and in the case of capacitance, the current is leading the voltage by 90 degree. And the total applied voltage is nothing but it is VR plus VL plus VC. This is a waveform. You can see when XL is greater than XC, or in the second case when XC is less than XL. So there are two conditions. We can have the representation. So according to that, the vector diagram, when VL is greater than VC, you can see over here, and here it comes like VL minus VC plus VR. And if VC is greater than VL, then this is a phasor representation vector diagram. So here it comes like VC minus VL plus VR. This is, you can see that this is VR and this is VL minus VC. Similarly here, you can see that this is VL minus VC and this is VR. So if it is VC is greater than VL, so obviously this will comes like VC minus VL plus VR, and here because VL is greater, so VC minus VL plus VR. So from here, impedance directly I'm writing impedance will be equal to under root of R square plus XL minus XC whole square. And phase difference phi is equal to tan inverse of XL minus XC by R. These are the two impedance triangle for both the cases as XL when it is greater than XC and XC is greater than XL. And the current here will be equal to I is equal to I max sin omega t plus or minus phi. So minus sign is used when XL is greater than XC and plus sign is used when XC is greater than XL. The power for this average power is equal to VI cos phi. This is nothing but I square R, and reactive power is equal to VI sin phi, I square X, and apparent power S is equal to I square Z. These are the two power triangles when XL is greater than XC or XL is less than XC. Power factor is nothing but cos phi, which is nothing but it is defined as a cosine of the angle between voltage and current phasor. So this comes like VR by V cos phi, or we can say that R by Z or P by S, because here we have seen that this can be R by Z or P by S. If you see the synopsis for the LCR circuit, this is an LCR circuit, a phasor diagram, impedance triangle, phasor diagram, and this is the other condition for the impedance triangle. This is all about admittances and its components. So what is admittance, impedance and admittance? Electrical impedance is the measure of the opposition that circuit presents to current when a voltage is applied. And the unit for this impedance is ohm, mathematical expression is Z, which is nothing but V by I, and its component is real, Z is equal to R resistance, and imaginary is X. Impedance in series add up to get net impedance. Whereas in the case of admittance of a circuit is defined as a reciprocal of impedance. So 1 by Z is nothing but Y. And the unit for this is Mho or Siemens normally. Recently we used to write the unit for admittance in Siemens instead of Mho. And Y is equal to 1 by Z, and its component for the real it is equal to Z is conductance and imaginary is susceptance. Admittance in parallel add up to get net admittance. So we have taken this. So 1 by Zt is equal to Yt, Y1 plus Y2 plus Y3 plus Y4, etc. And what is Y? Y is nothing but admittance. It is reciprocal of impedance. So for each of the resistors we have calculated, and this is the total value of 1 by Zt. And we can see the impedance triangle and admittance triangle. This is how we can make it out. Now when we are using an LCR circuit, resonance occurs. So then the definition, resonance frequency, power factor, current, voltage, phasor diagram, behavior of RLC with change in frequency, bandwidth and quality factor are the topics which we will be handling on to this. A circuit containing reactance is said to be in resonance if the voltage across the circuit is in phase with current in the circuit. At resonance, the circuit thus behaves as pure resistor and net reactance is 0. So consider an RLC circuit shown here, and the impedance is nothing but we have studied Z is equal to R plus omega XC minus XL, or can be written as R plus J omega L minus J omega C. If you take J common, omega L minus omega C. So at resonance, Z must be resistive. So therefore, at this particular resonant frequency, at when omega L minus 1 by omega C is equal to 0, then the resonance occurs. So if you consider like omega L minus 1 by omega C is equal to 0, it means you will get a value as in omega is equal to, or omega naught is equal to 1 by under root LC. So frequency is what? The frequency at which a circuit containing reactance acts as purely resistive is called a resonant frequency. So resonant frequency is nothing but 1 by 2 pi under root of LC. It is nothing but omega by 2 pi, and omega you got it as 1 by under root of LC. So frequency is resonant frequency is equal to 1 by 2 pi under root of LC. And power factor cos pi is nothing but R by Z. So substituting the value of R by Z value as an under root of Z R square plus omega L minus 1 by omega C whole square. So, but at resonance, what is this? Omega L minus 1 by omega C is equal to 0, or omega L is equal to 1 by omega C. So this is how we can get. So power factor is equal to 1 in the case of RLC circuit. Current is nothing but, since the impedance is minimum, if the resistance is minimum, obviously the current is maximum. So thus the circuit accepts more current, and as such RLC under resonance is called as an acceptor circuit. So I naught maximum current is equal to V by Z or V by R. So at resonance, the voltage is equal to voltage at inductance should be equal to voltage at capacitance. So at resonance, potential across inductance is and capacitor are equal and opposite, hence cancel each other. Also, as I naught is maximum, voltage across capacitor and inductor are also maximum. Thus, RLC circuit at resonance is also called as voltage magnification circuit. This is a phasor diagram. You can see here it is connected in series, and you can see the behavior of LCR with change in frequency, how it is behaving. This is capacitive. We can say when XC is greater than XL. This is XC is inductive, XC is greater than XL. This you can say this point is XL minus XC, frequency versus reactance in ohms. So here you can see at F less than F naught, impedance is capacitive and decreases up to F naught. And when F is equal to F naught, impedance is resistive. And when F is greater than F2, then impedance is inductive and goes beyond and goes on increasing beyond F naught. You can see the bandwidth and the frequencies for which the power delivered to a resistor is half or more than half the power at resonance is called half power frequencies. The range of frequency for which the power delivered to a resistor is greater than or equal to half the power delivered at resonance is called bandwidth. Here you can see that omega 2 minus omega 1 will be bandwidth, and the maximum frequency or maximum voltage or current wherever we get a frequency. So here we can say this is the resonant frequency F naught, and this F2 minus F1 we can say as an bandwidth. So if you want to calculate the expression for the bandwidth, so we have calculated I is equal to V by Z, or in this form, and I is also equal to, in terms of RMS value, I naught by under root 2. So from equation 1 and 2, if you equate this two, so this whole expression can be equal to V by under root of 2R. So if you solve this, finally substituting the value of this as in plus and minus, we will get F naught is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root LC. And the bandwidth is nothing but, as we were saying, W2 minus W1 is equal to R by L radian per second. Or we can say that it is F2 by F2 minus F1 cycles per second. The quality factor, the ratio of resonant frequency to the bandwidth, is called quality factor. It is measure of selectivity or sharpness of tuning of series LCR circuit. So Q naught is equal to omega naught by bandwidth. So if you substitute all this value, you'll get it as Q naught is equal to 1 by omega naught into RC, and here you will get Q naught is equal to VC out by V or VL out by V. The same LCR circuit, if you have connected in a parallel, this is R and this is L in parallel with C and feed it with an alternating voltage. So this is a mathematical expression where which we can find out the value of first according to the impedance we have taken. Impedance is equal to R plus ZXL, and Z2 across this will be equal to minus ZXC, and admittance is equal to reciprocal of impedance 1 by Z1. So this comes 1 upon R plus ZXL. If you do a mathematical calculation, so you'll get this expression. Similarly, Y2 is equal to 1 by Z2 is equal to 1 up by minus ZXC, or we can write it as Z by XC. So the total admittance in the circuit, according to the parallel circuit, will be Y1 plus Y2. So just substitute the value of both Y1 and Y2. You'll get this form. So at resonance, the circuit is purely resistive. Therefore, the condition for resonance will be this complete parameter should be equal to 0. So when you substitute this is equal to 0, we can equate this is equal to this one. Left hand side is equal to right hand side. And we can say that XL plus XC is equal to R square plus XL whole square. And if you substitute the values, finally you'll get it as resonant frequency is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 minus LC minus R square by L square, where F naught is called the resonant frequency of the circuit, and if R is very small, compared to L, then we can write resonant frequency is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root of LC. So finally, if you compare the series and parallel circuit, current at resonance for the series is V is equal to V by R, and here we can see I is equal to V by L by CR. Impedance at resonance Z is equal to R, here Z is equal to L by CR. Power factor is unity, here also unity. Resonant frequency is F naught is equal to 1 upon 2 pi under root LC, and here 1 upon 2 pi under root of 1 by LC minus R square by L square. Here the quality factor is 2 pi FL by R. Here the quality factor is same 2 pi FL by R, and it magnifies the voltage across L and C, whereas parallel it magnifies the current through L and C. We have types of LCR circuits: high pass filters, low pass filters, and we have seen this LCR circuit with the condition when R square is greater than L by C. It is the combination of low and high pass filter. If R square is less than L by C, it is only, let's say, narrow range of frequency through, and if the smaller is R square C by L, the narrower it is. If you use a rectifier, rectifiers are the devices which convert an alternating current to a direct current. But the direct current, whatever we get it in the case of bridge wave rectifier or full wave rectifier, is not in the form of DC. It is called as a pulsating output. So that the mixture of AC into the DC, if you want to remove that particular AC mixture, then filters have to be used. So a filter circuit is one used to smooth out or eliminate a time varying signal. After rectification, a signal may still contain a small AC component. This component is often called a ripple. By filtering, the ripple can be reduced so that the output will be in its pure DC form. Filters can also be built to respond differently to different frequencies. This is called a high pass filter. A circuit is shown, one of the example of high pass. A high pass filter is designed to preferentially pass signals of higher frequency and block lower frequency. You can see the connection. This is how the connections are there, and this is measured the output across the load resistance. At low frequency, V out is much smaller than V in. So what is happening? The capacitor has a high reactance and much of the applied voltage across the capacitor. At high frequency, the two voltages are equal. So at high frequency, the capacitor reactance is small and the voltage appears across the resistor. You can see here, the output voltage of the filter becomes very close to the input voltage as the frequency becomes large. In the case of low pass filter, so instead of R, here these two are connected in this manner. I mean, C is connected in parallel with the input voltage, and measured voltage is across the condenser. So at low frequency, the reactance and the voltage across the capacitor are high in the case of low pass filter. As well as the frequency increases, the reactance and the voltage decreases. This is an example of low pass filter. Now we see the magnetic circuits. An induced EMF E in a coil is proportional to the rate of the change in the magnetic flux passing through it due to its current. This is called as a self-induced EMF. This is according to the Faraday's electromagnetic induction. The induced EMF is proportional to the rate of change of current coil and is proportional to the constant called as an L. I mean, phi is proportional to I, and d phi by dt is nothing but L di by dt, and this induced EMF is equal to minus L di by dt because inductance opposes the growth as well as decay of current in the circuit. The negative sign is to indicate that the EMF is opposing the cause producing to it. Now if you assume the two coils which are placed near to each other, a change of current in one coil will induce EMF in the first coil and E2 in the second coil. So if you take one coil and if you apply an alternating current to this particular coil, then surrounding to this particular coil there will be a varying magnetic field, and in that particular vicinity if you place one more coil 2, an induced EMF will be set up in the secondary coil, and we can see that the current is flowing in the secondary coil. So the induced EMF E2 in coil 2 is proportional to the rate of change of the magnetic flux passing through it, and hence proportional to rate of change of current in first coil, and is termed as mutually induced EMF. So the best example is transformer. We can take a transformer. This we can consider as a primary coil, and this is a secondary coil, and we have applied an alternating voltage to this particular primary coil. So the number of turns in the case of primary we have labeled it as an NP, and the number of turns in the case of secondary as an NS. And the voltage across the primary is Vp, the voltage across the primary is Vs, and this is a magnetic induction phi B. A switch we have considered, and this is a resistance. So if you close the circuit switch, the current will be flowing in this particular circuit. So transformer is basically nothing but to make the value high or to make the value of low according to our appliances. So transformer is a device that can change the voltage amplitude of any AC signal. It consists of two coils with different numbers of turns wound around a common iron core. The coil in which we apply the voltage to be changed is called the primary, and it has NP turns. The transformer output appears on the secondary coil, which is known as a secondary and as NS turns. The role of iron core is to ensure that the magnetic field lines from one coil also pass through the second. So we assume that if the voltage equal to Vp is applied across the primary and then the voltage Vs appears on the secondary coil, we also assume that the magnetic field through both the coils is equal to V, and then the iron core has a cross-sectional area A. Then what is the magnetic flux through the primary? Phi B should be equal to NP into BA, or we can say that it's equal to minus d phi B by dt, or minus NPA dP by dt. Similarly, the flux through the secondary will be equal to minus NS A d phi by dB by dt. So if you calculate the primary magnetic flux and the secondary magnetic flux, you'll get these two equations. And if you divide equation 2 by 1, so Vs by Vp, you'll get it as an Ns by Np. So Vs by Ns, we can write it as an Vp by Np. It means if Ns is greater than Np, it means the number of coils in secondary are greater than number of coils in primary, then we must have is known as step of transformer. Basically, if you take the number of coils, number of turns in secondary, it means the induced EMF will be much higher than the given voltage, the Vp voltage. So we can say that it is a step up transformer. Like in the case of apartment or the industry, if you want to power up more from 220 voltage to 2220 voltage 10 times, then the number of coils in the secondary should be much higher than the number of coils in the primary. And similarly, if you charge a mobile where which we require a 5 voltage of DC voltage, it means the input, if it is a 220 voltage, it will have to be made into a 5 voltage output. Then the number of turns in the secondary should be very minimum compared to the primary coil. Then that particular transformer can be called as a step down transformer. So these are the calculations. When Ns is greater than Np, it is called step up transformer, and when Ns is less than Np, then it is called as a step down transformer. So with this, we covered up all about the alternating currents, the relation between the voltage and current in the case of pure resistance, capacitors and inductors, and the combination of RC as well as the combination of RL with the vector phasor diagrams, as well the powers in AC. In the last, we have seen the LCR combination in series and parallel, and studied the resonant frequency values, the quality factors, and the usage of alternating current basically as a transformer, as well the types of RLC like low pass filters and high pass filters. So thank you everyone. Thank you once again for listening patiently.